Did you hear about this? New York City to offer migrants 53 million in prepaid credit cards, the report says. Boy, finally, everything Americans have been clamoring for. Am I right? This is going to be a real winner for the Democrats come November. That's what I think. Huh? Now, have these cards been means tested? Here. So cards will be loaded with different amounts depending on the size of the family and whether they have income. A family of four could receive $1,000 monthly or $35 per day. Cards will be refilled every 28 days. That's better than the money they gave to the people in Lahaina. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. And so guess who else is upset about it? This is Stephen A. Smith, the guy from ESPN. So what this guy's been... okay, here, let's listen to what he says.
So you can pick and choose. What it came down to for me is this. I see homeless folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. I damn sure see them in California. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough of them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine, but somehow, some way, we can't fix the homeless problem. I'm down for helping Israel. I'm down for helping address the situations with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay? I'm down for helping the Ukrainians and fighting off Russia. What about poor and desolate citizens here? How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America who were born and raised here? This is what I'm talking about. And so when you have something like that, what's the one way to eradicate it? Yes, you got to have a flourishing economy. Yes, you can't have inflation. Yes, you can't be on the verge of a recession. Milk don't need to cost $7. Bread don't need to cost $5. Don't get me started with how much sugar costs. You can talk about employment all you want to. You can talk about the labor participation rate. But guess what? If you ain't making no damn money and you got to get two jobs to pay the same prices or to buy the same amount of stuff that you used to buy and the price is higher than it used to be because of inflation, then guess what? What are you really accomplishing?
I feel like
That's
this
why
one...
Trump is on the verge of getting elected.
Oh.
Because when he was in office, there was a flourishing economy.
So I feel like this might be a good time to plug my book, Your Country's Just Not That Into You. And look for my upcoming follow-up to this book, Your Country Wants to Cut Your Dick Off and for You to Kill Yourself.
What are you going to finish? Is that before Justice is Coming? Will it be in a more timely fashion?
I think so. I really do need to write. I wrote this book in 2015. So I need to put it.
And we didn't listen.
So this is almost 10 years ago I wrote this book. Wow. I need to redo it. Wow. So, but here, let me just show you this. So this is like the fact check or the puts this in context.
Oh, thank God.
But I don't think the context makes it that much better. Well, let's listen.
Some lawmakers are expressing outrage over a New York City program that they claim will give millions of dollars in prepaid cards to migrant families. One verified viewer texted us to ask if this, quote, free-for-all is actually happening. So let's verify. Our sources are the Office of New York City Mayor Eric Adams, the New York City Controller, and Mobility Capital Finance. These claims need context, and here's why. We verified that it's true. On February 5th, Mayor Adams announced a pilot program to provide 500 migrant families with prepaid debit cards. But these cards can only be used to buy about $12 worth of food or baby supplies per day per person. They're not free money, as some of the online claims seem to imply.
What?
That sounds like free money.
Sounds like a WIC card.
Yeah. It's so I guess it's not actual cash, but it does exactly what actual cash does. It buys you stuff.
But only so much per day.
But only so much per day.
You can't buy lobster like welfare. Remember that? Welfare, they're buying lobster?
Yeah, it's right. But that contradicts. Okay.
Wait, see how
I heard
yeah,
I heard before it said up to $1,000 a month,
yeah.
and then you could renew that every 30 days. So
It's welfare for illegal immigrants.
it's what it is.
Okay, so he just flashed on the screen what like the little details of it, and
Yeah.
you see how quickly it cuts away from those details
Yes. Yeah.
to like he can only use it to buy food, and you mean like money?
So yeah, and by the way, they have to swear an oath that they'll only use it for money. So would they have to use an oath? Anyway, here we go.
New York will reallocate $53 million for the pilot from money that is currently being spent to cater and deliver meals for those in the program. And Adams says it's expected to save more than $7 million per year.
It made no sense delivering the food, and then some of the food that we were delivering people didn't want. So here's your debit card with a dollar amount that is lower dollar amount, smarter way to do it.
So while New York City is giving out prepaid cards to migrant families, they can only be used to buy food and baby supplies, and it's a replacement for how the city currently distributes emergency food supplies. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewitt.
Okay, so again, that contradicts what this says. A family of four could receive $1,000 a month. So a family of four. So, or $35 per day.
Per person, right?
So he said only $12 a day.
Per person, though.
But it's per person.
And this is for a family,
So
right?
this is for a family. So $1,000 in 1 month is more money than they gave to the people in Lahaina.
Quite a bit more.
Yeah.
You give them $700, and I think it took a while to get there.
And it took a long time.
It took quite some time.
So this is what I've been saying. I got just like what this guy said. I got no problem helping people. I got no problem helping poor people. I got no problem helping migrants. But when we have Americans and veterans sleeping in the streets, there's homeless people all over the place.
They're practically other dimensional aliens at this point.
Yeah.
For how no one can see them.
No one can see them.
I think they're building new particle colliders, so we one day may be able to encounter the homeless.
When you hear report after report of senior citizens having to cut their medicine in half, and we're giving away tens of millions of dollars to 500 families that aren't even citizens. Again, this is not to demonize the immigrants or the migrants. They call them migrants.
It's to demonize your government.
This is to demonize your government. So you can, so you at the flip of it, you can provide money and aid to people who aren't citizens. By the way, who are here primarily because the billionaire class wants to lower your wages. That's what this is about. But it's a big part of what this is about.
Have them police you too, probably. But that's what
and then,
Durbin said.
And join your military because people don't want to join the military anymore to go fight. So, and we can send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars to the military industrial complex, tens of billions of dollars to Israel. We can't send a couple of $1 billion to America to fix homelessness. $10 billion would pay for community college for the whole goddamn country. They'll never do any of this. So so again, this goes back into my theory that the billionaire class, this is not only in the United States, but you're all over. They want everybody on edge, just like we were during COVID. So it makes us easier to control. And it makes us beg for authoritarian solutions. That's what this seems like. It seems like this grand plan, not only to lower wages and to fill our military with foreigners, but it also seems like to keep us on edge, to keep us begging for authoritarian solutions to our problems. And they've got the money. Again, they printed $5 trillion during COVID, and they didn't give it to you. They could have, again, you can fix homelessness for $20 billion. They won't do it. They won't do it on purpose. There isn't a politician I've seen run in the last 5-10 years that even mentions homelessness. Even Cornel West, when he came on the show, didn't make it. Didn't make it to his list of priorities. His priorities was demonizing your neighbor as a neo-fascist.
I think the much larger issue here, after that great context they added, was they try to make it better by saying, well, it's actually cheaper.
It's cheaper
than what we're spending now. So what you're telling me is it's way fucking worse than I even knew.
Yes.
That's what you tell old people who live in New York. And by the way, Here's a real cheap solution. Shut down the goddamn border and stop being a goddamn sanctuary. That would save a lot of bucks too, I bet.
Yeah, I bet you that would save $53 million just off the top.
Like, that's crazy. It's not
Again,
even, they're not
when-
into you.
when a
They
guy-
want you dead.
When a guy like Dennis Kucinich, who's so far to the left that the Democrats gerrymandered him out of his own district in Ohio, when he says we have to seal the border, this is no longer a left-right issue. This is exactly what Bernie Sanders said was happening in 2015. Bernie Sanders says an open border policy is a Koch brothers policy, which means, what does that mean? That means the billionaire class wants this. And why? Because it suppresses wages. That's the first thing.
Hey,
But it also destabilizes cities. It makes people on edge, and it makes people beg for authoritarian solutions. Also, I'm going to look more into this, but I'm getting text after text from people saying that they're trying to make it okay for illegal immigrants to vote.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I thought we showed a clip of the lady saying it'll be great to have their vote. Maybe I watched it.
Maybe I wasn't here. Maybe I was on the road and you did it with Kurt.
No, I might have saw it on Memology 101.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she said it and then like it backfired. I can't remember even what state it was in. It was in Chicago or New York. She goes, well, no, New York. And it's going to change our, here's an even more important reason. It's going to change our.
And I don't want to call people, again, this is not to demonize desperate people who are coming to the United States.
Well, I was going to deflect that way and say that's what you're saying, so I could deflect from your point.
Right. But when people in America can't pay their bills, when people are working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs just to pay their bills, when senior citizens are taking half the medicine that they're prescribed because they can't afford it, when people can't afford housing.
When eggs are $50.
Again, it's you know what when they give you the instruction on a plane, hey, if we lose pressure and air masks fall from the ceiling, make sure you secure your mask first before you secure your kids. Why do you think that is? Because if you pass out, you're not going to be able to take care of your kid. So we can't take care of our own country, yet we have people flooding our country and we're taking care of them or trying to. Or spending tens of millions of dollars in one city alone.
Jimmy, they're busing. Okay.
This is crazy what's going on.
They are busing them in on purpose. Do you know that?
This is crazy.
They are busing them. It's not just people, I'm desperate to cross the thing. They got goddamn, in other countries, on the way up, they've got encampments set up. It's various charities. There's one called the Catholic. James O'Keefe just showed it. They've been showing on a bunch of stuff. They're busing military-age men across the border. So you don't even need to explain that shit, because if somebody out there thinks that's what it is, it's just desperate, like a mother and her child and a dreamer. It's not that. It's a coordinated, only young military age men for the most part, and then kids who disappear that they're shipping on purpose. And it's the Open Society, all the greats are funding this. The WEF, all that shit you heard about. It's so much worse than whatever anybody's thinking. So you don't even have to worry about blaming it. Your own government's bussing them in, like that. We saw Dick Durbin say what this is for.
I showed Dick Durbin.
So was everybody need? How many times do they have to tell you what the plan is? Let's think of all the new things. They're all to isolate you, sterilize you, and then like Canada's like, hey, and why don't you kill yourself now? So, and by the way, they're saluting Nazis, and they're doing a eugenics thing right in front of your goddamn face. That's what's happening.
This is stunning. That's all I can say is this is stunning. And when a guy like him, who's been on television since I can remember watching television, I don't know how long he's been on TV, 20 years. So this guy is he's been a millionaire for a long, long time. And when he's upset, when it actually affects his mentality, again, and they just keep trying to prop up this demented Joe Biden.
Well, you know why? Remember, replacement theory is a racist conspiracy theory that from white supremacists. Well, look, turns out they're replacing every other kind of color of people
Right.
from America. Nobody born here matters. They need to be thinned out. We're going to bring in some new blood. I don't know who the hell's the top of the pyramid making those calls, but here's the mind control they use over the elites. It's called money. They give you a big shit pile of it, and then you'll say whatever the fuck. They don't even tell you any secret shit. A big pile of money. That's how they do it.
Well, if you're pissed off about this, I'll see you Friday in Philadelphia, and I'll make some jokes about it. This Friday, what's the name of the theater? The Theater of the Living Arts in Philadelphia. We'll see you there this Friday. This is nuts.
You know who's
Okay.
behind it?
You know, Jimmy, I just wanted to let you know that according to AP November 3rd, 2022, the claim is registering non-citizens to vote. That's a false. Voter registration in California is restricted to U.S. citizens.
This was in New York.
Okay, but that's just in California.
Okay, I just
That's
wanted to...
what you just read was just about California. Okay. They're also counting them in the census. People who are call them undocumented. Again, this is not because I have a chip on my shoulder against desperate people who are coming to the United States. I have a chip on my shoulder against the system that allows that to happen in cities that were not even taking care of the people who are here already.
If you don't see that off the, I don't think you should have to explain jack
They're
shit.
shutting down schools to put undocumented immigrants in. They're
Stephen Smith notices it.
Steve, this
This
is what
genius.
So if this guy notices it, this guy who's lived at the tippy top of society for the last 20 years, he's noticing it.
I have a headline from New York Times that says New York City's non-citizen voting law is struck down, and that was from June 27, 2022.
What does that mean? What is a non-citizen voting law? What does it mean?
Is this they had one
A
in
state
place?
Supreme Court judge from Staten Island said that the measure, which would allow more than 800 non-citizens to vote, violated the state's constitution.
So they are trying to
They'll
do
get
that.
it through. Don't worry.
So they are trying to have people who aren't citizens vote.
Wait till the Black Swan event happens that they're worried about it
Yes.
on MSNBC. That sounds like fear-mongering conspiracy theory. There's a Black Swan event coming.
Right?
We're busting up military-age illegal aliens here. Is everybody crazy?
Hey, come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Bend, Oregon, Portland, Seattle, Philadelphia, Avenel, New Jersey, Boston, Palm Springs, Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Berlin, and London. We're adding a second show in London. The first show sold out. See you there.